Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here, and it is wreath making day. So we are working on my friend Bev's pattern Holly Jolly wreath, and look. These are so fun and so fabulous. So here's what we're doing today. This is day 2 of our wreath making. It's like 4 or 5 weeks we'll do to make this quilt. And I had a friend make just the wreath blocks for me because of my schedule. I need a little help. And so I am so grateful to have the wreaths made. But we're going to walk through. Here's the last one. Here's the 9th. Ta-da! See how big they are? Look at this. Yes! I love oversized blocks. I cannot tell you enough how I love oversized blocks. Give me a great big block. I love it. So, okay, back. What we're going to do is I have a couple of things here to tell you, and then we're going to go to the other side of the table, the back side, and I am going to walk through the process that I use, the thought process and the arranging and tips for making one of the wreath blocks. Okay, so first, before we do that, I want to tell you another little thing about the postage stamp quilt that I showed you yesterday. The single block is free. There is the pattern that has all the different sizes and all that is a very inexpensive digital pattern, but you can also just watch the video. And so, you know, just to clarify that. But also my block, I'm using all strips from the honey bun. I'm not using any of the pink from the background in the block, which is how Kimberly's block is done. She's alternating a background white with one of the honey bun fabrics. So I'm doing all honey bun fabric so I can kind of use up all of that honey bun, alternating it with the pink, and it'll have a crib size quilt so that I can send it to a little girl in our family. All right, another thing I have to tell you, do you remember I showed you the spiced wafers? Do you remember these, the spiced wafers? Well, it turns out the Sweetzels company watched my video. How fun is that? They really did. They watched my video and they wrote me and said, well, we want to send you some of the other flavors to try. I'm like, okay, who's going to turn down cookies? Not me. So they sent me, we have ginger creams, which are really, really delightful. They're very tiny. So I thought, I just had to show you. They're super tiny and very yummy. They come in a bag. So here they are. They're like little mini sandwiches. They got like vanilla cream inside. They're super good. And then they also sent me their box of ginger snaps. So ginger snaps will taste different than the spice wafers. So I am very excited to have all of these. Thank you for sending them for us to try. And they actually sent a couple of each box. So I'm giving them to some friends and some neighbors so everybody can enjoy all the tasty things. Okay, remember I also had the fall block for the wreath. Here it is again. Oh, listen, stay till the end. I've got a surprise for you, so you have to watch all the way to the end. Let's go back to the other side so we can make a block. The first thing that I'm going to do is take the jelly rolls and sort them into units that will make each quadrant of the wreath, because there are 4 sections and I don't want duplicates in the same wreath. I don't want things touching each other that I don't like. I will be very intentional in how I do this. Plus there's directional fabrics in this particular fabric line of Bev's, the Christmas Adventure. So I want to be sure that there's no caravans upside down, words upside down. So let's take a look at that. I have got, okay, I got a block down here too. So I've gone ahead and pulled these out already so that I have things that work. So the first grouping, so I did groupings. I did 4 groupings. This is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I went through to put, basically took the jelly roll and just took one, of different fabrics, and then I added a second, but not repeating. So that there's no, like this is, for this wreath, there will only be one piece of green with the words on it. And I think I can manage that, based on the blocks that were done. That's very doable. You don't have to repeat it. For this fabric line, the number of fabrics, you don't have to repeat this in any of the wreaths. Now this is directional, and this is directional, meaning the images have a top and a bottom. And a pink flamingo with a Santa hat. How cute is that? Bev's company is called Flamingo Toes. So of course there's flamingos, and these are little bikes, or like little baubles for your tree, ornaments with things in them. And then the words. So I've got this unit. Now also what I was doing was looking at color. Now I did not want this green, this aqua, or it's a light green. It's like a minty green against here, because I think it just mushes. I can do better. I can do better option. So I keep them on either side. That also means that as I lay out the other 3 quadrants, I also don't want a navy touching a navy. So I will be sure that let me just scoot these over a bit, so that if the unit over here is being built, I won't have this navy fabric and the green fabric, touching each other like this, be across from each other. That I don't want that. These will probably be down in the other quadrant and not in this top quadrant. So I would pick one that I can maneuver. So like I've got a great red, and I'll keep a green so that's not right across from this green. Here I've got more caravans, so I'll probably put the caravans at the top since this one is here, and the presents will come there. So here would be the top 2 sections of the wreath. So if you're looking at the wreath like this, it'd be this unit, and this unit is what I just laid out. Then I have the next 2 units. When you're doing those, follow the directions very carefully, because you can see this bottom row with the bow. This bottom row of the wreath has the bow insert. And so this is done a little bit differently. And I'm going to talk about these squares after I sew up the 4 sections here. So just before I go sew, I want to show you this. I put it all on the design board. And now, so I can see the colors. I did switch a few from the other groupings. I kept the same piles, but I just switched things back and forth. Now down here are the sections that are, follow the pattern, a little smaller, and you have these units here to put for part of the bow tie. So 2 other things. One is I don't want this very white strip at the bottom, because then it will blend out into the background too much. The whole bottom half of it would just kind of fade away for the wreath. And also on this particular fabric here, there's some white sections, so I just cut past that. It's the top of the caravan. I just cut past that so that I didn't have this as the bottom of the wreath either, because that would also just blend right into the background. So those are things that I'm looking at in the fabrics, and I have a few extra jelly rolls so that I can go ahead and fussy cut around the parts like this if I need to. So I have 4 sections sewn. You can see I've got them up here on the design board. I have the units that have the tops of the bows at the bottom, and I'm looking at the colors and I'm happy with it. Now if you got all these sewn and you had maybe a group of them because you're sewing all these units first, if you had one that you wanted to switch out with somebody else, but don't make yourself crazy with that. It can be really nutty to try to isolate everything into a great uniqueness, and it's just not worth it. Unless you have 2 pieces that are identical next to each other, or the same color across, just don't worry about it. It can make you nuts. And you can see here the white will be in the middle, so it's not going to wash out into the background as if it were a long edge on either the top or the bottom. So you want to be sure on any fabric that looks like your background fabric, you keep it in the inside sections of the wreath. So let's now look at what we're going to do with the corners, because that's the next big part to make the wreaths. And I've got one of them down here on the table. So here is the wreath. Now my friend sewed this next unit, but we're going to do this part next week. We'll work just on this section this week and get all the wreaths just to this part. You'll have 2 sizes of squares of background fabric, and this is done, this is done in the white. So your bigger squares go in the middle, and the littler squares go on the corners. And that's how it'll work. So just be on your A game when you do this, because it's easy to, you know, look down or pick things up and you get them on the wrong side. Particularly now you're going to be picking these individual units up. Let me show you here. Let's just put the units on here. So we have what? The small ones on the corner and the big ones go on the inside. So as you're picking these up, it can be easy to rotate them or, you know, somehow get them flipped. Now they're all horizontal, so you know you want to be sure you're not, you know, sewing one like this. So you're not going to get a wreath look, but it is very easy, particularly on these top two where you don't have a bow unit, that you could have it upside down. And then all of a sudden you've sewn a big square here and your words and your caravan, everything are upside down. So really be careful as you pick them up. That's why I like these design boards, because I stick this right next to the sewing machine and I don't make those kind of mistakes too often. It can happen, you know, anything's possible in sewing. It does happen, but not too often when I'm organized like this. So your assignment this week is to get all of these units done and make your wreaths up until the portion where you just have one bow, part of the bow on the bottom. Because the next week we'll talk about adding this, because it varies by block, and so we want to, I think, get all the top parts of the wreaths done first. I think that's a way to approach this. Now for the fun, Bev over at her website Flamingo Toes is hosting a giveaway that starts today in honor of us sewing her Holly Jolly wreaths. She has this fabulous bundle here of goodies. So you have to go to Bev's website. It is linked below the video here at YouTube in the description box or at my website. Now, if you're signed up for my newsletters and my emails, you'll get an email today to my article and the link is there. You'll see a picture of it and then you can just link on over to Bev's site and take a visit. She is amazing and so generous to be hosting this for us. I just am so excited about it. And you would get one of those really cute flamingo turning tool, those tools. You know, they can be used for all kinds of things. I even opened letters with them. I think they're fabulous. Okay, I'm excited. This is coming along really well. I might, well, I've got the postage stamp guide, but I've also got these guys. And so I might cut a couple of these as well this week around, you know, like when I'm taking a break from something, just go and cut some more so I can do another one of these fall wreaths. So I think a whole quilt of those. So next week we'll do the lower part, and after that we will start the sashing and then assemble. So by the end of October, now of course you can move along if you have the pattern, so you can keep moving, but otherwise by the end of October we will have a quilt top. Also, be sure if you can to come to the Virginia Quilt Museum 25th anniversary online virtual event with Zoom on Saturday. That's tomorrow at 1 Eastern time. You can watch while you're doing something else. If you're doing things in the afternoon, you can get on Zoom and be part of the celebration where I am the MC. So exciting. And if you're so inclined, go pick up some yummy cookies because they're all super, super good. You're going to love them. Okay, my friend. Holly Jolly. I love you. Mwah. See you online.